Hi, and welcome to the Voluntary Virtues Network. My name is Michael, and something is rotten in the state of Denmark. Today I'll talk a bit about police brutality and show you some footage, and I hope you enjoy it, because that's about it. So, as you could see, the pigeon was clearly a menace to society. It was acting all violent, and just dancing around in the middle of the street, and people had to take measures to avoid it so they wouldn't get hurt. But we'll get back to that in a minute. The next footage I want to show you is from the 2009 UN summit in Copenhagen. I think it was anyway. I'm not even sure what happened beforehand, but the footage speaks for itself actually. I can't really say anything more about it. Now the cameraman, he was moving the footage around a bit, and it was really poor quality back there. So I had to remove a bit of the footage and just skip ahead to the next incident, or to the incident actually. That you'll see. Protect and serve. That's how they do it. So when you decide to protest, when you decide to protest, don't stand on top of the police car. We all know that they'll just beat the shit out of you. Seriously, when you protest, I'm not even gonna tell you what to do, because the police shouldn't be allowed to do that shit. They're working for you, but they should be working for you. You should pay them for what they do, and not just because the state says you have to pay your taxes because of, ooh, the dangerous terrorists and the criminals and No, they should be working for you. You should be paying a monthly fee or whatever your protection service would ask of you. And when forcing people to pay for stuff like this, this is what's happening. This is what will happen. No one cares about you. You're a piece in the machine. And you can be replaced. There's always new taxpayers coming in, and they don't really give a shit about the individual. It's all about the money. Everything about the state is about the money. So the next footage is taken somewhere in Copenhagen around this year, and it was a message basically where some people decided to chalk off on the paving sidewalk, whatever it's called, and someone snitched them and turned them into the police, which showed up and said, "Oh, they cannot do that." Some of the police even hinted that children should be arrested for chalking on the sidewalk as well, which is pretty dumb. It's chalk. It would wash off after the first rainfall, so I'm not sure what to say actually. It was, just watching it was pretty, what's it called? Pretty, pretty horrific, I would say. Just the statements from the police, the aggression, and I wouldn't be. I don't feel safe in this country. Actually, it's pretty. It's not rare that they act like this, and it's a shame because, as I said, they should be working for you, and you shouldn't be responsible to them just for moving on the street. wearing the wrong set of clothes, or smoking a plant, or whatever you choose to do that doesn't harm anyone. And it's not private property, so they cannot and should not be allowed to tell you what to do.
Det har vi så lige snakket om. Det er vi ikke helt enige om.
Hvad så hvis det er noget barn?
Finde et andet sted at skrive, så vi
skriver på en lydsted. Der er ikke nogen anmeldelse.
Der er anmeldelser på det. Lad nu være.
Ja, det er fint, det er lidt frit. Det kommer til at regne. Det er jo væk.
Det skal du ikke.
Flere gange, hvor der ikke var noget problem.
Prøv at høre, vi har fået anmeldelser. Og vi snakker sammen. Vi har fået anmeldelser på det. Derfor hører vi ham. En borger. Ja.
Men så kan jeg bare anmelde en hvilken som helst person på et eller andet, og så kommer I afsted. Altså, hvad er paragrafer? Hvilke paragrafer indeholder I så til? Det vil jeg gerne vide. Det er jo ikke nok at sige, at det er nogen, der er anmeldt. Så skal jeg også anmelde en hvilken som helst på et eller andet.
Bland dig udenom, det er dig, jeg snakker.
Jamen, jeg spørger efter. Som politi.
Hvad er det, du gider?
Vi skal diskutere for at passe mit arbejde. Har du nogen med dit navn på?
They say it's illegal to chalk, and they say that the kids should also get arrested for chalking with the krit.
So this really didn't have anything to do with police brutality in the regular sense, but the aggression and the body language and the tone of voice and the arrogance, the way they talk to people, it's really, really, really horrific to watch, actually, because they literally think that they own you, or at least they act like they own you, because they have no right to tell you what to do. They don't own the property in question, and the people owning the property did not call them, because it's the state that claims ownership over public property, and you can't own something you have stolen. It's impossible, because if it's legal to steal, then I can just come steal your stuff and you wouldn't be owning it anymore, and someone would take my stuff and I wouldn't be owning it, and it's just ridiculous the way it works. The system is built on violence and steal and theft, it's called, and it's ridiculous to watch people defend it, because they wouldn't steal from the neighbors on a regular basis. They wouldn't go into the neighbors, pull a gun to the head and say, hey, you have to pay for my children to get in school, you have to pay for my medicine. But as soon as the politicians are involved and they can send the cops out to do it for them, it's all fine. no problem. And stealing is okay. Just call it taxation. And it's ridiculous. This next piece of footage is from Copenhagen, I think. It's from a protest about immigration, and where some immigrants were thrown out of the country, or were gonna get thrown out of the country. I'm not sure about the details about it, but it was basically just peaceful people protesting, and peaceful and peaceful. I think they were yelling a bit at the police beforehand, but still, it's like you sit on the street and sitting up for your principles, but you stand up for your principles and disagreeing with the state, and you'll get beat up. And seriously, you will get beat up. If they don't like your message and you stand up enough for that message, they will kill you. Because what happens when you refuse to move? They will beat you up. What happens if you defend yourself when they beat you up? They will use more force. And if you escalate the force again to defend yourself, they will kill you eventually. Because that's how the state works, and you cannot tell someone what to do without them acknowledging it and without you being, prepared to to take it all the way. Every law is basically saying, you're gonna do that or we will kill you. And this is really showing what the the insanity of the state worship. And the state worship, not many people over here worship the state anymore. Some do, but the insanity of believing that the state is here to protect us, because it's not. It's here to protect their own interests and whoever works for the state. And if you're on the payroll, you have no no trouble at all. But if you're peaceful, if you're a peaceful citizen and you just want to live your own life, you will have trouble, and they will come and get you one way or another. Because if you want to keep the profit of your own work, or you want to do whatever with your body that you want, then they will arrest you and throw you in jail. Literally kidnap you, and use violence, and eventually kill you. And it's that simple, really. But take a look at the footage and see for yourself. This is what it's all about. Violence. So, as you could see, there is a lot of violence going on when the police get in on the action, and not that it was a peaceful protest, but still most of the violence were unnecessary, and the protesters' violence were an escalation of the police using it. So I would imagine. Anyway, I wasn't there myself, and it was before I even cared about freedom. So, but how does beating peaceful people sitting on the ground in the middle of the street justify beating them up with sticks? It's seriously, how does that someone justify that? And how can you rationalize that to yourself? Was it because they weren't hurting anyone? All they did was stand up for the rights, their principles, and I cannot see how you can justify using violence against kids. Seriously. But on the other hand, that's what the state does. It's a violent racket, just collecting tax money from the tax sheet. But enough of that. The next footage I'm gonna show you is where a handicapped person is thrown out of his wheelchair, and I really don't have much to say about it. It's such an evil act, the police officers doing that. I have trouble finding words about it, and the video is describing most of it anyway. But seriously, watch it. This is how the police acts in Denmark, and they don't care. It's insane.
Han har ikke gjort en skid. De kommer stille og roligt gående, mand. Fucking lortesbrød. Prøv at høre det. Det der, det er noget, jeg gerne vil lægge og finde, mand. Vi har ikke lavet en skid. De kommer gående stille og roligt. Det kommer rendende med jer for pukkede gummeuniform. Og Klaus, ligger min kammerat ned. Og siger, at jeg kan komme med på politistationen, hvis der blander med jeres dumme på retten. Skal hjem? Ja, det kommer jeg også til at gøre. Men det der, det er godt nok noget af det værste, jeg vælger at se. Hvad fanden har I gang i, mand? Hvor kører I hen? Jeg vil høre, hvor I kører hen. Jeg har ret til at høre, hvor I kører hen. Jeg skal hente din kammerat. Du er samme vej, hvis du ikke klapper ind nu. Er du med? Du holder din fede kæft. Hvad sagde du? Prøv at høre, det er mig. Det er mig, der spørger dig, hvor du vil køre ham hen. Det har du ikke ret til at vide. Hvad laver du? Skal du tage fat i mig? Du stopper mig. Er du med? Det har du ikke ret til at vide. Hvad laver du? Skal du tage fat i mig? Det har du ikke ret til at vide.
Jeg har det også på film! Jeg har det også på film! Bare rolig! Vi har det også på film heroppe! Kom afsted Det er det på Ekstrabladet i morgen. Vi har det helt på film, mand! Vi har det helt på film!
So, as you can see, it's just a horrible situation, and the police officer surely thinks that he is the law, and that he can justify anything that he does. And it's really horrible, because people actually defended the police officer because, you can just be polite and not talk like that to the officer, and it pisses me off so much that someone can be allowed to act like that, and people will still claim that the police are here to protect us, and that without them it would be chaos and everything would fall apart, and violent gangs would take over everywhere. And it's just not true, because violent gangs have already taken over everywhere. It's called the state, and they're armed thugs, the police, the military, everything. It's just the dumbest example that you could ever make, because no one has killed nearly as many people as the state over the last 50 years. None of humanity combined have killed more people than the state has done over just the last 50 years or so, 100 years maybe. It's completely insane, and I don't know how people can defend it. I really don't. But yeah, it was about it with that with this video, and I'll end off with the rest of the dog movie, pigeon movie, and just be like, hey, look at that pretty dancing pigeon, because it's such a violent little bird. It has to die. And spoiler alert, it died in the end. Guess who?